Hey y'all, good morning. Was on my morning walkabout. I don't get to do this every day, but I have a little bit of space and time today. So just walking about and, coming around behind my healing space, I have a very special little spot, with a rock, a big rock that I can sit on. You might be able to see a little of the rock back there. Yeah. So there's been a lot coming up, recently, and it is a little ironic that I am sharing this in a video given what I'm gonna talk about. Um, but I think what's been coming up is the response to either being quarantined or being mandated to stay at home or shelter in place or social distance, all of these things. We have so many people who are not out in the world working. So many of us, myself included, that have either chosen or been told that this is what we need to do, is to, isolate ourselves in order to serve the whole, in order to, be of good service to those who are more vulnerable, and also to support our medical people, nurses and doctors, and in all parts and places of the medical community who need us to stay at home so that their work, of saving lives is supported. So with all of that being said, what's happening, is that we are using this social media, whether you're on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or some other place. There's YouTube, Vimeo. There's all these places, where we can reach out and connect to each other. I have been using the Zoom tool for a few years now, so this was not anything new to me. And working, doing any kind of spiritual work via video or video connection has been very familiar to me for a lot of years, with the travel that I do and the remote healing sessions that I do. And with all that being said, there is a flood coming in through social media of different offerings that are coming from many different people, myself included. I'm in that. And so, and then also along with that flood of offerings that are coming in, there's a lot of questions that come up around these offerings and what they are and how they should or shouldn't be, handled, just all kinds of things. As in anything in our world, there is always as Reverend Barber, who I truly admire, speaks about the call and response. There is a call or a need, and then there is a response, and then the response becomes the call, and then there is another response. So it goes constantly, a call and response, a call and response, a call and response. And so what I see happening is that there was a call, for connection, for quick and immediate connection, and for many people who were used to working, quietly in person in groups, with people who were invited or signed on to either meditations or circles, talking circles, ceremonies, healing work, all of this, yoga, it all goes in there. You know, Suddenly that deep desire to continue to be of service was translated into this video form, which I think was, overall a really good translation. And, I too have started offering things via like Facebook Lives and videos that I didn't offer before. Well, I'll take that back. Once a week, I would come onto my Facebook group around practical shamanism and do a teaching live. And what I have added to that is some energy clearing work once a week as well. And so, and then there are other things that start coming up for those of us who are doing medicine work. The call becomes for prayer and support through prayer. And so in that prayer and support, it becomes very public. It becomes a public offering. And, so I have a lot of thoughts around this, and I may be rambling just a bit, and I hope you'll bear with me as I just kind of process through all of this. So for me, years ago, I had a deep call into this medicine work and into learning and connecting and participating in ceremony, whether it was sweat lodge ceremony or healing ceremonies, dance ceremonies, all around the world. I had a deep, deep calling, and I followed that calling. And eventually, I was shown that I would also be a ceremonialist, as we say, or a leader of ceremonies and holding space. And I stepped deeper and deeper into the healing work. And what became very apparent about 10 years ago, after I had already been doing this work for quite a while, for 10 years or so already, about 10 years ago, what became very apparent was that I was to be very public about my work, which I had really kept in very small private circles up until that point. And it was really scary, it was frightening. And I said yes. Spirit and my guides were saying that I need to be more public. And then, of course, I went to my elders and to ask for, their sage advice and thoughts and insights. And I was told by one of my grandmothers that I hold so dear to my heart that that I was to be a bridge between the old ways and the new ways, and the only way for me to do that was to speak about it, to be public and to use, whatever medium, to use to create that, to open that space for others to see that that there are those of us who do the work quietly. I happen to now do it very loudly, I guess. So it's interesting, the processes that we all go through with our own medicine. And so I think the message that I want to say to you all is that, first of all, take any of this, any advice, any circles, any space being held, take it what resonates with you, and pay attention to who is creating this space, this public space for you to join into. Do you know who they are? Do you know anything about them? Do you know about their medicine? And I say this to people, I've been saying this for years to people who go and sit in circle in person with people. And now we happen to be sitting in circle like this, but know who is leading your ceremonies, know who is holding the space. It's very important. Ask who your teacher is, ask how you learn to do this. Don't just take it that all is well. And ultimately it is, though, isn't it? Really, all is well. If each of us, as medicine people, people who are doing healing work, yoga teachers, all of us, if all of us listen and understand our deep guidance and what we are being asked to do by Spirit, by our guides, and we do that and we follow that, if it's scary or not, because the first time I did something publicly, it was incredibly scary for me. But what my guides showed me and what my elders told me is that it's a good thing, And so there is a lot going on, and I see comments on Facebook and posts on Facebook that say things like everybody's a guru. Everybody is this, everybody is suddenly an internet, guru. And you know what, maybe we are. Maybe all of us are gurus, but we should be our own gurus first, right? We should be following our own path and our own guidance. We should be doing things in a good way. And I don't like to say should, but in this case, we really should, because when we put something out there publicly, we take responsibility for it. And we take responsibility for all of those who come into our circle, whether it is a virtual circle or a live circle. So it's okay, to ask questions. Who is your teacher? How do you come to know how to hold ceremony, how to do this work? It's okay to ask those questions, to ask people, medicine people, what is your relationship with your guides? How did you create that? How solid is it? And how can you hold me? How can you support me in this? These are all okay things. Now we just scroll and scroll and scroll and, oh, there's a meditation, or scroll and scroll, oh, there's a prayer, scroll and scroll, oh, there's a this, there's a that, there's a teaching, there's that. It's okay to ask those questions. It's okay to ask those questions. In fact, I think it's rather important. And anyone who has been taught the medicine ways, no matter what tradition or what culture it comes from, will always tell you their teacher, how they learned it, how they came to be in this. It's part of a lineage. You know, we carry a lineage, and so this is important. This is important work. So, and you have to work with those that you feel safe with, whether it is virtually or in person. You have to ask questions for yourself, and you know, we have to take care of each other. And what I will tell you, that for every person that you see, you know, out on social media holding meditations or prayer circles or whatever, teachings, whatever it is that we're holding out loud, I promise you that there are 1,000 more who are sitting quietly in their homes doing their medicine work, because their guides told them to be still, to be quiet, to go within. So please know that all of this is happening. All of this is happening. And I can't speak for others, but for myself, you know, the work that I do publicly is matched by my own private personal work that I do within, that I do for myself, that I do with my guides. I speak to my elders. You know, I stay connected here, you know, here in my own heart, to know that what I'm doing in a good way. And I think that that's really important for each of us, you know, for each of us to ask those questions. So, yeah, so I just wanted to share this with you. Times are different right now. Times are changing. And there are those who are seeking, you know, who are really seeking connection and solace and prayer, and clearing and healing work. There are those that are seeking that otherwise would not be able to have it if it weren't for these social media, you know, conversations and videos and offerings. And so I think that they are incredibly important, what's being offered. And I would say to anyone who is seeking, including myself, be sure that you know who you're sitting with, whether you are sitting virtually or in person. Do the good work, ask the questions, take care of yourself. Don't take anything for granted, you know, whether it is an offering like this or whether it is, you know, a virtual or in-person offering. Don't take anything for granted. And please know that those of us who have a deep calling to do this work, we are not only doing the work out there publicly, but we are doing the work for ourselves privately. It's not easy to hold space for people in a time of crisis, which is what we're in. And so please don't take for granted that those of us who are being very public are not also very deeply affected and deeply touched, and really seeking for ourselves as well to find the truth for ourselves. And I will make that an I statement. I am deeply seeking for myself to find my own truth as I continue to hold space for others, as is my commitment to Spirit. So ask all the questions, you know, do all the checks and double checks. Know whose hands you put yourself in, and stay strong and get grounded. We can do this together. We really can. We can do this together. So I am sending you all so much love from my little secret garden. I see my flowers they're blooming back here. It makes me so happy. So I hope you find something as simple as the flowers that makes you happy today as well. So I'm sending you all so much love. Bye.